Afternoon, guys. Well, I've got a funny tale to tell about this partner R16. This came in a batch of, I think it was 17 saws, but actually there was a couple of power heads and about 17 saws from this wily old gentleman, and really nice guy. So this is the partner R16 Swedish saw, and I have a few of them, and so he wanted to clear a batch of saws out, and so we were talking about the price for this particular saw, and I don't mind saying, you know, he said, oh, how much is the partner worth? I looked at it, I said, well, I said it's in a challenged condition. I said, so I said, but I paid £25 for it. He looked at me and was frowning. He said, the partner's an amazing saw. I said, oh, I know. I said they can be an amazing saw. I said, but look at it. He said, no. He said, so I'm going to walk around in the camera in a second, because then you'll see what I actually saw. He said, no. He said, they're an amazing engine. I said, oh, I know they are. I said, they're an amazing engine when they're running. I said, but look at it. I said, it's not, I said, how much do you want for it? He said, it's £35. I said, no. I said, it's... Right, let me grab the camera, guys. I've got to show you what this thing was like. Well, what it's still like, because I haven't done anything to it other than two things, which I'm going to tell you now. Okay, it's almost hysterical, the condition. Right, let's put you there. Okay, so top cover's clean, bit of corrosion, but no brakes on it, all mag alloy, lovely. It's got this gorgeous original solid nose, I think that's a nominal 18-inch bar. Chain has got a tiny bit of life left in it, and if I turn it around, it's really unusual to find these bars as well. So as you can make out, not just a bit of make out, but what that actually says in the writing, because it's a solid nose tip and it's a 0.58 gauge, so it's stamped with the different chain designations for either running a 3/8 pitch chain or a 404 pitch chain, which is fantastic. It's so unusual to find that. So anyway, back onto this saw, which I was looking at it, I thought, well, it's got the wrong cap for the oil housing, and I thought, okay, and this is all a bit, it's got a bit of pitting, although there's no brake actually on the tensioner. I thought, okay, you come around to the handle, and it's inset with this piece of wood, and it's missing the air filter, and then you look at the coil, and you think, yeah, okay, this just isn't working. And there was no, I should say, there was no pull handle on here, and this thing's pulled out from the HT lead, is only just pushed in fact, so it's exactly as it's come. So let me put this back over here. So that's how it arrived, with a broken handle, the HT lead not even plugged in, not pushed into the coil, the cord dangling out, and he said, this saw's a runner. I said, this. Elliot, he's a lovely boy. Elliot, I said, this saw's never going to run. He said, we'll have a bet. He said, I'll bet you £10. He said, this saw runs. I said, well, I said, it can't run because the HT lead's not in. He said, well, he said, you've got to do two things. He said, we've got to push the HT lead in, he said, but he said, you've got to check the plug or change the plug. He's obviously got to put a McCulloch handle. He had a spare McCulloch handle. He said, we'll put a handle on it. I said, okay. Now you've seen the condition of this thing. It's rusted over, but I should have pointed out in the video, there's a very unusual little brown box here. I hadn't noticed that when I was looking at it, which is, again, I guess why he attributed more value to it. So anyway, the long and the short, he said, look, he said, you pay me £35. He said, we'll have a £10 bet. I said, okay. he said, so if I win the bet, you pay me £10. Right. So we put fuel in it. We put this one off of not a McCulloch, that was off an XL he had there. We cleaned the spark plug. We'll put another plug in from another engine. The blasted thing ran, and it runs fantastic. I said, I don't. He said, well, he said it's fitted with a. So it's got an original, a vintage Atom electronic ignition system on it. So Atom they were made in Australia in the. I'm sure they started life out in the 70s, so they were made in Sydney, Australia. I said, crikey, I said, it's still got an original. He said, yeah. He said, and it had, he put 2 replacement starter pulls on it, and he said it's just been sitting there. He said, but he said the engine's fantastic on it. I said, well, I can hardly believe it. So that, okay, so it was hung up, and it wasn't, you know, on the ground rotting away. So it's been hung up, so it's obviously had a little bit of love. So it's, in the long and the short is, I bought it for 35 and then I lost my bet. So then the thing owed me £45. So we had a laugh over a cup of tea over it. So, Elliot, you're a wily devil if you watch this. But, so you live and learn. So just goes to show that sometimes when you look at something you think that's never going to run, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's, yeah, so it's got an original Atom. It's got the original Atom. They used to call it computer ignition, and I'm pretty sure it's mid-70s, and it was made by can't be I keep coming up with the name Andreas. I'm thinking of Steel. I don't think it's Andreas, but it was made in Australia by 2 brothers. I think they designed it, and there you go. So that ignition system is still working and working beautifully. So hopefully, even with all its flaws, it's got great compression. This is as it's come. It's got this beautiful, and I'm pretty, well, again, the 2 significant round circle markings make me believe it's an original Swedish Sandvik bar. Solid nose, still stamped for 3/8 and 404. Broken handle, missing air filter, rusty coil, wrong cap over here, and no locking screw on the top. But let's put that back on. But incredibly has the early Atom computer ignition system fitted and running well. It's so there she is. That's the really unexpected saw from this last batch of saws from this workshop clearance. An R16, but with the Atom computer ignition, and okay, she's got lots of cosmetic flaws. The exhaust is still good, top cover still good, side cover's a bit pitted, but isn't broken where the tensioner comes out. Little a really crude piece of wood inset into the handle. Goodness knows how many years it's been like that. But for all those flaws, well, hopefully an amazing restoration project for one of you, or maybe just great for spare parts. So there she is. So that's how I saw I wanted to buy for 25. I ended up buying for 45, and but nonetheless, I think I have to smile. So bear in mind that HT lead is just pushed in, and yeah, he's true to his word. We did nothing to it. Changed that plug, put in some fuel and a handle. Do I fancy it with the electronic module on? That starts even easier than my Pulse version ones with the original ignition. It's so ridiculous. You would never believe that this saw would start like that. And now she's not going to. So there she is, the heavily challenged partner R16. Sorry, that's the compressor. The heavily challenged R16. I should mention as well, both the chain guide plates are present. Obviously the clutch, sprocket and everything working and fitted. It looks like oil's... It looks like the chain is getting oil as well. Haven't checked that. This is how she's come. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you find that a little bit amusing, because that should never run with a coil looking like that, with the lead just pushed in. But there we go. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.